People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People of 7 on Twitter and YouTube, people elsewhere on the internet. My soaps locate purplebutterfly-soaps.myshopify.com, my blog, purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com. And in the city of Cincinnati, Ohio, we're having a water emergency. They say that the contamination from Palestine, Ohio. Apparently there was a train derailment. Put a bunch of stuff in the water that's killing fish. They say that will go past our area, and as a precaution, they're shutting down the intake, and we'll be using reserve water, and most of the contamination will be gone by Monday, the middle of Monday. They're going to cut off the intake and, let that go for a couple of hours before they turn the water back on. In the meantime, we're using reserves. But the water is safe. Really? The water's so safe, and you don't have to worry about it, and it's safe for drinking. Then why did they cut off the water supply and switch us over to reserve? Duh. Plus, it's killing fish. Anything that could kill a fish can kill a human. Okay? So I'm spending the day braiding my hair. Well, actually, I'm putting it in twists. I was going to do a braid and drop, and then I figure, well, just start the braid and then do a twist where the drop would be. So that way, because I wash my hair every other day, if it's braided, it only gets washed once a week. So that way, whatever this is can pass, and I don't have to worry about my hair. In the meantime, in my house, that's water, that's distilled water, that's distilled water. That's the water I use for when I make soaps. The last one looks like this. Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah. And then this is the overflow from that same batch. And then you come over here and water, 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 water. That's in my kitchen, living room area. This is all one big room. Okay. This is my kitchen. And that's my living room. So technically that's my dining room, but it's all one big room. And then you have my bedroom and my bathroom. Okay, and in the bathroom I have another thing of water lined up. Okay, about 4 or 5 months ago they had another water emergency, but it didn't affect the entirety of Cincinnati, Ohio. It affected my neighborhood. Primarily, they had an issue with a water main break by the river. The first community you get to by the river is my community. And by the time that it got announced on the news, it was over. So my daughter tells me, in the Cummingsville North Side area, they got a boil alert. I'm like, a boil alert for my area? Yeah. I said, for when to when? So then when I went to check the news, only one station in the city covered it. And then they basically said, oh, the emergency happened from this time to this time, and it was 6 hours later. So whatever was going on with the water, where the boil advisory was in effect, I'd already drank that water. That didn't make me feel, all warm and fuzzy inside just knowing that. But in the meantime, I had already bought all that water right there for the boil emergency. And I'd already had the water over there that I buy for when I make soaps. So I figure, okay, here's another thing. They're not even saying boil advisory. They're saying we're cutting off the entire water supply for the city of Cincinnati issue for the state of Ohio, but specifically for the city of Cincinnati, we're going to be on reserve. Okay, fine, no problem. I got water. And they specifically said, don't rush out and buy boiled water. There's no need for that. Right. They said that so that way there'll still be some water on the shelves when people decide to panic. Because, when the pandemic started, you couldn't find toilet paper nowhere. People bought it all up and they bought up all the water. I wasn't worried because I was one of those people. I buy my toilet paper by the 25 pack or 24 packs. And a 24 thing of toilet paper will last me approximately a month. So I wasn't worried on that end because I had already bought toilet paper for the month when that happened. But there was an issue with water. And I found out very quickly I don't like boiling water. I mean, the process for boiling water for a boil advisory, you bring the water, well, first you get your biggest pot. You bring the water to a rolling boil. You let it boil for at least 5 minutes, and then you scoop off the water on top, so that way whatever's on the bottom, sediments or whatever, is in the bottom. In other words, you're boiling a thing this big of water, and you're leaving this much of it in there, dump that out, and then start over. So, yeah, it's a lot of work to get not much of a yield. I'm not on that. When I can just go to the store, grab a thing that each one of those things of water costs $1. So for $5-10, I can have enough water to last me for, at least a week, and it only cost me $5 instead of I spent 5 hours boiling water and not even have that much of a yield. Plus, when you boil water, you don't necessarily have gallon jugs everywhere to put the water in that you boiled. So it just makes more sense to buy the bottles. I mean, after I use those, I can refill those, but at least I have the bottles to refill. This is the first time I've lived in this apartment specifically, but this is like the first time I've ever lived on my own. So I didn't have just jugs of water for the water emergency. So yeah, I went and bought the water. But anyway, I'm not very trusting. You say, oh, it's a water emergency. Don't worry. The water's safe to drink. I'm going to be like, is it though? Because if it was safe to drink, they wouldn't have put it on every news station. Not just Channel 5. Every news station. I usually watch the Laugh Network, which is the station like, okay, the series of stuff is on this channel, this channel, this channel, and all the cartoons is on that channel. The sitcoms is on that channel. Well, they broke into the sitcom channel to tell about the water emergency and the derailed train, which is how I found out about it because I wasn't watching a major news network. And they busted in on PBS, they busted in on Bounce, they busted in on Channel 64, which is basically the Cartoon Network here. I could watch Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie, all my favorite sitcoms from way back in the day. It was on that channel too. So, yeah. And then it was on Twitter. I was watching Law Talk with Mike and Big and Two, having a good old time watching court cases and all that. And I get a Twitter alert, and I'm going, well, Twitter's usually on Do Not Disturb, so what gives? And it was saying, breaking news, tune in to this channel for details, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, well, that's kind of unusual. So I switched to the channel, And then I switch to another channel, and I switch to, and it's on every network. But the water's safe. No, I don't trust that. I got enough water for drinking and coffee and food prep. I have enough water in the other room for basic cleaning because I'm not going to trust taking a shower with it either. And I'm not going to have to worry about my hair. That might be overkill. That might be a sucky attitude, but it's the only one I got. So, yeah. Besides the fact that I'm on, let's see, there's a chemo med, there's 2 diabetes medicines, medicine for my stomach that I have to take, so that way it buffers the effect of the chemo med. I have a anti-vomiting med that also goes in tangent with the chemo med, so that way I keep the chemo down. Then I'm on 2 blood thinners, a cholesterol tablet, and a blood pressure tablet. And I have to take those pills every day. I need water for that. I'm not going to trust the sinks until they say everything's all clear. And they already said mid-Monday. So I'm going to be drinking my supply of water till at least Wednesday. Because, yeah, I'm going to make sure it's past the Ohio River and on to wherever the contaminants are going to go, you know, possibly down to Mississippi, headed towards the ocean or the Gulf of Mexico, so it could get completely diluted out. But yeah, the fact is the derailment happened in the state of Ohio. I live in the state of Ohio. So by the time it gets to all those other places where we're testing hourly to make sure blah, blah, blah. But for now, the drinking water is clear. It's going to be clear. You don't have to worry. And then we'll be on reserve. And no. That's too close to home. So, yeah. We've already had a boil advisory a couple of months ago. And I kept thinking, the water tastes funny. But, didn't really think much of it. I thought, okay, you mixed the Kool-Aid wrong, because I have this drink mix that is sugar-free that I drink instead of Kool-Aid, but I still call it Kool-Aid. And I thought the water tasted a little funny or a little off, but I'm thinking, oh, you must have not added enough water or whatever. And then I find out there was a boil advisory the same day. So my daughter goes, I suggest you dump that out, which I did. And I poured one of these things of water into the pitcher after I cleaned it out real good. And I cleaned it out with the distilled water because I didn't trust the sink anymore. Which means I wasted a lot of that water just making sure that, the stuff I'm washing the dishes with was good too. And then I used another thing of it to make coffee. And then I bought more water. But at least that's better than drinking contaminated water and not even knowing it. Well, this time I know something's in the water and it might not be here yet. And I might be jumping the gun, but yeah, I'm going to be safe on that point. Yep. Anyway, I just thought I would keep you advised, because if I make little jokes about water or panic every time somebody says something about water, y'all gonna know why. Fortunately, when I make soap, I never use faucet water or the tap, because of the simple fact that impurities in the water can affect how your soap comes out. There's this thing called DOS, otherwise known as dreaded orange spots, that shows up in soap. It looks like little rust spots in your soap. And yeah, if you ever see it, you know it. People are like, what's wrong with that soap? It's got little orange spots in it. Well, that happens when there's copper pipes or iron deposits, if you're using well water, or if your water is just not good quality. Like there's some people that have hard water. There's some people that have soft water, but it has a lot of salt in it, stuff like that. When you make soap, you just use distilled water. It's one of your ingredients. Oils, your lye, distilled water, without fail. So, yeah, that's why. And if you notice, hold on, they're in a different kind of container than the bottled water because I use the distilled brand from Kroger's, mainly because I get it when I'm doing my grocery shopping. And that other bottled water came from Dollar General. I buy that simply because I like that handle. You know, water's water, so it's not like it's got a different taste. I like the handle because, okay, let's show you what I mean. This is kind of hard to handle. I mean, I use this for making soap. But if I had to go to take a shower or whatever, this is much easier to grab. You see what I'm saying? And it fits nicely right there. But yeah, I like that handle. You know, when you're going to use water in a certain way, like in the bathroom, in the basin of the sink or whatever, that's more convenient to hold than the other container. So yeah. In the meantime, back to my hair. I'll pop in to show you the finished product because this is going to take me at least a couple of hours. This has been Peepla. I'm Peepla7 on Twitter and YouTube, Peepla elsewhere on the internet. My soaps located at PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, PurpleButterfly-Peepla.blogspot.com. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye now.